Your Excellency. Another round of applause as he's sitting. Yeah, that was a great message from His Excellency. Now allow me to call upon Honorable Country Representative of Unfpa in Rwanda so that he can deliver his remarks to us. Thank you so much.
Murao. Your Excellency, Ambassador Pawan Das, who has been a very good friend since he came to Rwanda. Also, I want to recognize my friend and brother, Dr. Menelas. As we said, he's been part of us for a long time, and yeah. So thank you for representing the Ministry of Health and the Honorable Minister. Also permit me to recognize the Vicar General of the Diocese, representing the Cardinal, Father Kashmir. I hope I got that right. The Vice Chancellor of the Institute, Dr. Innocent, and also our dear Mayor of the Garinke District, Madam Vestin, distinguished guests, future midwives, and perhaps nurses, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be standing in front of, people that are going to be the lifesavers of tomorrow, the midwives here present. And as I believe that you go on to save millions of lives, even as we went through the demonstration, the things that kept coming through my mind is the fact that this would save many lives of not only mothers, but also young babies that have been born. As you heard from the High Commissioner, the Aim for Change initiative is a 2-year project that's been generously supported by the government of India. And the aim of this partnership with UNFPA and the government of Rwanda is to transform midwifery education in Rwanda to make it much more professional than it was before through curriculum development, support for policy formulation, and also, more importantly, the training of midwife. Before I go on, I would like to specially thank the ambassador again for finding time to come to this event to see what's happening in the Ruli Institute, but more importantly for his passion. I mean, you must have seen during the tour how he was passionate about different parts of what is happening here, passionate about the infrastructure, passionate about the library. In fact, I don't know if I can announce this, he's also made a pledge that the Indian government will support the library of this institute with books and other materials that is needed for education of midwives. So if we can give the government of India a round of applause. So this year alone, we have 355 diploma, bachelor's, and bridging students from the Ruli Institutes that have benefited from the scholarship initiative that's been made possible by the government of India. I think we don't emphasize that enough, but without that support from the government of India, we will not be able to do most of the things that we've seen that we're supporting the institute to do today. That means we have 355 of students, of you midwives, or future midwives, that have had a chance to be able to pursue their education without the palpitations. I'm sure I can use that word now because you are medical people. The palpitations of thinking of where the next school fees is going to come from. Recently, my daughter had one assignment in school, and they asked her to choose her favorite medical word. And she chose palpitation. I was like, why? She said, because it applies to both medical condition and also even normal conditions. When you are scared of something, you feel palpitations. When you are anxious, you can have palpitations. When exams are coming, you feel palpitations because you don't know if you are prepared enough and what you're going to get out of it. So I think that word palpitation struck me. That's why I used it to describe what you feel when you know that you have school fees to pay, but you don't know where the money is going to come from. But thanks to the government of India, we've been able to at least reduce your level of palpitations or the frequency of your palpitation. And this is very important because, like I said earlier on, many of you carry the hopes of many people. You're going to save lives that you've not even met before, that you don't know now, but I'm sure in the course of your career, you see how important it was for you to be supported to acquire the degree or the qualifications that you are being trained to acquire. On behalf of UNFPA, I also want to extend my deepest gratitude to the government of India, again, and also the government of Rwanda through the Ministry of Health, because like I always tell people, you know, we rotate through different countries as representatives for UNFPA. And countries vary. In some countries, you go there to tell them what they should be doing. But in Rwanda, before you utter a word, the government is already thinking about what should be done. They actually come up with initiatives that all we need to do is to see how we can support those initiatives. And the 4x4 strategy that the commissioner talked about the High Commissioner talked about, is one of those initiatives. So we want to thank the government, even as we say that we don't have enough workforce, as many as we need for Rwanda. But before we could even come with our own ideas, the government has already designed something that will make sure that in 4 years' time we have not only enough number of midwives and doctors and other health professionals, but we have them with the right skills, which is very important. So thank you, Ministry of Health, for this support for the health sector in Rwanda. I also want to emphasize the fact that, the Vice Chancellor wants to speak now. I also want to emphasize the fact that most times we look at the cup half full, we don't look at the things that we've achieved. To let us know that no matter the gaps that we see today in the health sector, Rwanda has made significant progress that has been seen in only very few countries. Maternal mortality in Rwanda has reduced drastically from about 1,500 in the mid-90s to now recently to around 200 per 100,000 live births. That is monumental, that is significant, and I think it's worthy of commendation. But the only thing that we've observed is that, you know, as the numbers have decreased significantly, it is now becoming more difficult to go lower than the 200. And that is not because it's Rwanda. It is known worldwide that when the numbers have reduced significantly, it becomes much more difficult. You need to apply new strategies, new skills, and try new things to be able to reduce maternal mortality to the level where we want it to be. But we also know that one of the critical interventions that is needed to reduce maternal mortality is actually the skilled health workforce. And Dr. Menanas is here. That is his baby. He's the head of the Health Workforce Department of the Ministry of Health. And we know that in Rwanda, we've not been able to get to that internationally required number of 4 health workers per 1,000 population. We are currently around 1. And we hope at the end of these 4 years, with all the support we are getting from our donors, like the government of India, and also the support of government, to be able to increase that ratio, to make sure that every woman or every child that is in the hospital can have the right skilled support that they require. So I also want to emphasize the fact of the ambition of the government of Rwanda. I don't know if Dr. Menanas mentioned it, somebody mentioned it earlier on, that, you know, the global target for maternal mortality as part of the SDG is to reduce maternal mortality in most countries to less than 70 per 100,000 live births. But in Rwanda, not only do we have a more ambitious target, we also want to achieve it faster than the international community target. The target is less than 70 per 100,000 live births by 2030. But Rwanda's goal is to achieve 60 per 100,000 live births in 2029 or by 2029. I think that's very ambitious. And I'm sure that you all see that the government is working very hard to make that happen, as enunciated in the National Transformation, the NST2, that the government have put together, actually spelled out how this is going to happen. And we believe that's going to happen with the level of commitment that we've seen in the country. So the scholarship provided through this project would contribute to this vision, to make sure that the country is going to be able to achieve that by enabling more students to pursue midwifery education and to be able to graduate, because there's one thing to get into the education of the educational institution, but it's another thing to be able to have enough resources to graduate from those studies. Some of the things that the government of India is supporting us to achieve, we all talk about the scholarship, but there are other things. There's also support for revising the curriculum, which has been successfully done with the support of RBC and the Ministry of Health. And we believe that with this will standardize the skills and the practice of midwifery and nursing in the country. So we thank the government of India again for providing that support, the resources that make sure that happens. There's another major intervention that maybe because you're students here, we actually don't hear about more, is also the fact that this support by the government of India is also supporting the transfer of skills and knowledge amongst countries. I think in the last 2 months, I don't know if it was last month, I can't remember the exact month, we had governments of Rwanda officials actually supported to go to Ghana to learn how the best practices that they have in terms of midwifery education, in terms of strengthening even government systems to provide services that are rendered through nurses and midwives. And the report I saw came back with very strategic and good recommendations that we can learn from Ghana. And also the Ghana counterparts, they also learned a lot from the experience of the Rwandan counterparts that went there. So we thank the government of India for helping to broker that space, that allowed that knowledge exchange between countries in the south. The next one is going to be in India, where some government officials as well from the ministry and also from the Midwifery Council will be going to India to learn some of the cutting-edge technologies that they've introduced into the practice of midwifery and nursing. And I am personally looking forward to that because there are a lot of things I heard that's happening in India that can make the practice really easier for our nurses in Rwanda, and especially for our faculty, so that they can transfer the knowledge to the students. And I hope in future we'll be able to have something exchange among students as well, so they can go to India to see the students there and also come back here to do that. So I want to especially also thank the Catholic Diocese for putting all these things together, for making sure that your institution that is impacting the health sector in Rwanda, we cannot thank you enough for this life-saving gesture that you are giving to the community. Apart from preaching, you are also contributing to people's well-being. So we are grateful for that, and we thank you for that. On behalf of UNFPA Rwanda, I want to thank everybody that's here today, including again the Ministry of Health and our students today, to remind you again that you stand in the front line of where new life begins. You are the ones that will carry the life that is being brought into this world for the first time ever. And your role is very important, as you be the guidance that would ensure that the women don't die while trying to give lives to babies. So your profession is very important and is very credible. Sometimes we don't feel appreciated enough, but know that your reward is not only on earth, it's also in heaven. So we thank you for that, and we want to encourage you to continue to, carry the motivation that you have and the passion that you have for this profession forward. And I'm sure you will all go far. Murakoze Chani.
Another round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Honorable. And I